Welcome to another video, A Walk with Phil, and I'm here in West Bromwich, and today I'm going to show you where the Jensen factory used to be here in town. I don't know if many people realised this, but Jensen themselves actually began life in Carter's Green. When the Jensen brothers rocked up there at this company in 1934, and they became so successful that they had to move to bigger premises, which is just behind me in Kelvin Way, in 1956, I believe. But so what I'm going to do today is just going to show you where the original Jensen factory was in Carter's Green, and then I'll take you up to the one that most people remember in Kelvin Way. It's surprising really that so few people know that Jensen Motors actually began life down here in Carter's Green, and more specifically here in Shaftesbury Street. So what I'm going to do is just going to show you where the original Jensen factory began life here in West Bromwich. And as we proceed down Shaftesbury Street, we've got the casino here, the Shaftesbury Casino. It's been here a while now. Used to be Ford's main offices there and showroom. And if we just pan here to the right, where we have Lidl, that was quite a large car lot where they would sell their second-hand cars. But here was Jensen Motors. Jensen Motors began life here in 1934, and what I'll do is I'll go down the driveway if I can. It says Trinity Housing Association now, the main entrance. There's two or three cars on there now. There's an entrance here to this particular part of Shaftesbury Casino, but that's not where we want to be. We're going to go down here, and if you can see ahead of me, look, you can see the offices at Jensen House. Prior to the Jensen brothers making their home here in 1934, this company was held by W.J. Smith, William Smith. They were commercial motor body builders, specialists in lorries and cars. But when after William Smith's death, it was the Jensen brothers who took over the business in 1934 to become Jensen Motors Limited. The first car they built here was something called the White Lady, which is an open-top tourer powered by a 3.5 litre V8 engine. And they also produced a saloon version, and they also built their first lorry. And they set up another business in Pensnet near Kings Winford, where they built this lorry called the JNSN. After World War II, they built the Jensen PW, another luxury saloon. And this remained in production until 1952, and it was around about 1950 the name of the first Interceptor was built, and in 1953 they got a contract from Austin Healey to make 2,500 car bodies. So they had to work a night shift here, and obviously the premises was getting far too small, and in 1953 they launched the 541 with a fiberglass body, and that stayed in production till 1962. Well, where I've just come through was the entrance to the factory, and this was the main gate that we're coming through. It looks rather narrow. You can see there's a barrier here now, but now you can see right ahead of me now. You can't really see through this metal bars, but there's another metal fencing ahead. But the factory itself would go right. You can see the cars at the bottom. Look, see the road at the bottom. There's the expressway that cut right through the factory in the late 60s. So they had to move from this side anyway. But here it was. To the left was the main office. This office block was built in the late 1940s. The original office block behind this one was destroyed by an incendiary bomb in 1940, November 1940, when West Bromwich had its infamous blitz. But through there there'd be main works, and the main works would stretch right beyond the expressway that you can see ahead, which would be very difficult to see ahead actually. But there'd be sawmills and offices through there. They had the main office beyond this one, just right where the second lot of gates were, but that was the part that got hit by a bomb, an incendiary device, and a lot of the history of Jensen was lost when that happened. But this is where all the vehicles would, transporters and such like, would enter these particular gates. They come round here and through those gates there into the body shop, where, as I said, they built all those cars that I just mentioned. And here is the now called Jensen House. This is still the main offices of the Trinity House Association, and this was also the main offices for Jensen, where the accounting department was also based. Yeah, so we'll leave that behind. But it was all going on down there. It's a shame we can't actually get to see the rear of that office there because of the gates all closed up now. But there was, as I said, there was the main works there, there was the paint shops, there was the assembly lines, there was the development departments, there was sawmills, trim shops, and test areas. And it was just here where this pillar here, this is where the sign for Jensen was displayed, just beyond this wall here. And you can see all these houses here on the left, well, just ahead of me on my left. A lot of those houses would be backing onto the sides of the main Jensen factory. They moved to a new premises in Kelvin Way, which I'll take you to in a bit. The factory was built from 1954 to 1958. Because of the Osley-Neely contract, they did move over there in around 1956, whilst the factory was still being built. It wasn't completed until 58. But what I shall do now, that was the entrance to the Jensen factory. Now I'm going to try and show you where the exit would have been. Now there's a road ahead of me just here on the right, John Street. I'm going to go down there, and that is where hopefully we'll find where the exit was from the Jensen factory, where cars and vehicles were produced and loaded onto transporters, and they would be leaving that factory there and making their way up this street here onto the high street. Okay, here's John Street, so let's go down John Street and see what we can find down here. Okay, we're at the bottom of John Street. We've got some rather swanky apartments just here. Can't say much for the roads themselves though. Yeah, it was just here. Look, this is where the exit from the factory with the cars that they had produced would be coming trundling around here towards me and taking a left turn onto the high street. The factory and its production lines would have continued right over there where the expressway is now, but of course it's all been severely curtailed now because of the expressway. There's nothing left at all. Ahead of me we've got some old retaining walls where I don't think that would be anything to do with Jensen, but well, who knows, because it would be beyond this wall where Jensen's was. There you can see the rear of the Jensen offices. No, there's nothing there we can actually see. What I can see is just a pile of bracken and rubble and, well, mainly bracken. And there might be some remains of the old car parking. No, there's nothing there to see through that fence. but it would have been around here. Half on here and half on this side was the exit road from Jensen. Show you where a particular road used to be called Winkle Street. I don't know if it's still, I think there's a bit of Winkle Street still left. It led on to Tyndale Street. They're very old roads. Tyndall Street doesn't exist anymore. But here is, just here is Winkle Street. Now, if you went straight on, that would lead to Garrett Street up there. Where's John Street? Obviously curtailed now because of the expressway. This is Winkle Street. One or two terrace properties around here. Look, it's funny how the backs of these shops here. There you go. Look, the Winkle Street now ends here, but it would have carried on to join another road across, which was Tyndall Street. It used to have a pub along there called the Plumber's Arms. Just show you here the rear of the Marksman pub amongst the cross guns. Of course, it's no longer a pub now. It's now Super Polo, a Polish shop, I believe now. Another one of those thousands of convenience stores we've got up and down the high street here in West Bromwich. We've now completed our look at Jensen Motors of what we do have left, and as I say, this is where the transporters with the vehicles would be entering the high street here. Right, we'll take there's Farley Clock to the right, and the main shopping centre is ahead of me now. So what we're going to do now is going to take you down Kelvin Way.